What's up, everybody? We back. R2C2. Another week. What's good, guys?
Hey, I got a lot of positive feedback on our soccer episode that we did, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we talk football, and I don't know, maybe people did not fully realize the passionate soccer fans that we have on this pod. I mean, you are a serious soccer fan, and I love the sport as well. I don't follow it as much as you do, but this is a great time of year for people like us, man.
No, this is like the sport that can like unite the whole country. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm watching, on social media, and like it's kids watching in math class, and my son's talking about, the Matt Turner, the guy in goals from Park Ridge, which is close to our house, and like it's Tyler Adams, and like it's cool to see all these people interested in soccer. You know what I'm saying? And it only happens when the U.S. is good in the World Cup. But it's one of those things where, like, I mean, random people turn into fans of soccer because it's the whole country. Because it's the U.S. It's not the Yankees playing against the Dodgers or the Raiders or the Giants playing against the 49ers or whatever. This is like country against country. So it's one of the one times when the whole country can get united and get behind something, and it's cool that it's soccer.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. I'm also going to try, and you see how blurry my camera just got?
Yeah, I don't know
what happened. Let me see. I'm going to go for the purely listening audience.
Oh, there you go.
It's back. There we go. I was all of a sudden very blurry. Yeah, man, it's really fun the way that the World Cup unites us like that. It's the stars and the stripes, man. It just, people all are going to get into the sport, whether they like soccer or not, whether they've watched soccer or not, because it's that USA across the chest, and it's a rare event too.
And it's a rare event, and the bars are packed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like all my boys are at home are like, man, the bars was cracking yesterday all day. So it's just one of those things where people can get behind it for so many different reasons. But it's cool for me to see that soccer is, kind of taking the main stage here in the U.S. for a little bit. Hopefully it stays that way because we get the World Cup in 2026. So hopefully, we get a lot of kids watching Christian score that goal yesterday and want to, make soccer their main sport. And then, we can get better as a country in the sport.
And if you think about it, like in 26, we really should be primed to make maybe our deepest run with this core, because right now they're probably like just before peaking, and hopefully in those 4 years we develop a true striker, because like as we've seen, this team has shown a ton of talent, a ton of skill, some beautiful setups, like very consistent pressure, especially in the first halves of these games. I think they've gotten a little too defensive in the second half against Wales and the second half against Iran, but we just haven't had the person to just who can just basically hunt goals, right? That striker to finish it off. So if that person can develop with everyone else we have, man, I feel great about the squad going into 26.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all these guys should be around 27, 28 years old going into the next World Cup. So, yeah, I mean, that's they should be in their prime. A lot of these guys after this World Cup should get contracts in Europe, and the way these guys are playing, you know what I'm saying? So it'll be fun to see.
Is it interesting to you too? Like, there's something about a soccer broadcast that I feel especially connected to. Like, a soccer broadcast really affects my viewing experience. And I don't know if it's just because I'm a play-by-play guy or whatever it might be, but like, I really enjoyed the broadcast yesterday. And like, so I booked my physical for yesterday, 2:45. My doctor is amazing. She books like 18 months out for her physicals. They helped me out and were able to get me in earlier. And then I had to cancel because Evie was sick. This was like 5 weeks ago. So they rescheduled for now. Evie's sick again, and the US is playing. And I'm like, I can't cancel. I have to go. So I plug in the Fox Sports app because I didn't know where it was on radio to listen. And I'm just like listening to the TV broadcast as I'm driving to my appointment, man. And then I'm sitting in the waiting room watching on the app, and then I'm literally waiting for my EKG, like sitting on the radiator watching the stoppage time, man.
But that's what everybody was doing yesterday.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying,
man. Yes,
that's what everybody was doing yesterday, and that's it makes it super cool.
Yeah, and the broadcast was great. Like I could feel the anticipation of the Pulisic goal because of like just the way it was called. Which the dude, what's the guy's name who got the assist on that goal? Because he was fantastic in that first half, especially.
Des.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he played great. He was applying constant pressure on Iran, man. And that goal was terrific. And it's funny because we talk about not having like a true like finisher striker, and that's not necessarily what Pulisic is. But like he clearly was just like, I got to get this done one way or another for my group, man.
He was calling for the ball all day yesterday too. Like right before that, like he was in the box, like he wanted that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like if you watch everything building up to that, he was making passes in the box. He wanted it back every time. Like he was calling for the ball from Weah and from Des and everybody. So, I mean, he was really feeling it yesterday, and for him to score that goal was huge.
And it's fun to see because I feel like we've been waiting on him in the World Cup, right? Like they didn't qualify in 18. That was devastating to him. We've been hearing his name for years about, hey, this guy is he's the next big thing. He's the real hope for American soccer. So for him to have that moment to get us through the group stage, which had to happen, right? If you were going to generate excitement and belief that this group can do something, beyond what we've seen thus far in U.S. soccer, you couldn't then lose to Iran or tie them and not make it out of the group stage. Like that would have been massively disappointing. And he came through.
No, that would have been a huge disappointment after not being in the World Cup, in 18. And then, we got all this buildup coming to 26. There's no way we couldn't have made it out of the group stage. That would have been fucking devastating for the sport over here. So the fact that, like you said, we've been hearing his name forever, and that he comes up with this huge moment, they want him to be Captain America so bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for him to come up with that moment was really cool.
I was thinking about, we were talking last week, that the moment, like speaking of the bars and watching the bars, I remember what it was. It was the Landon Donovan goal against Algeria that put us through in 2010, that put us through the group stage. That was the moment I was thinking of where it was just incredible that, because I think he scored that goal in like stoppage time, if I remember right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the guys on the team now were saying that was a big moment for them to start playing soccer and to start taking it serious, and the wanting to play for the U.S. So, like I said, hopefully there's some kids watching, this World Cup and saw that goal and be inspired to, take us to the next level.
Who has stood out to you, C, as someone who really knows soccer, who loves the game? Who has stood out to you watching that you're like, damn, he can really play?
I guess Timothy Weah. I didn't really know much about him, coming into this World Cup, but having a chance to watch him, man, he almost scored early too. Yeah. He almost scored early from on the same play that he scored the goal against Wales. It was almost the same thing from Pulisic. So I think he could end up being that guy, that scorer, that finisher that we would need to, carry us to the next level.
He's fast, man.
He's super fast. Yeah. What's crazy really is like watching all of these nations in the World Cup. They're all fast, cuz. Like you watch Ghana, they're so fucking fast on the pitch. Like it's insane. Like it's cool to watch these guys playing it for their country too, because the competition, everything is just so heightened and everything is so much more at stake. And to watch these guys, play at such a high level and be able to, I mean, you watch Brazil and they get passes and the ball stays right on their foot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane watching some of the skill that these guys have.
It's crazy, man. The talent and skill is It's unbelievable. It's just such a great event, man. And to have the games on during the day, it's just wonderful. It's just it's so fun to just have these games on. And what's been amazing too is I think that like there's been a really interesting level of parity. You know, like you don't necessarily have nations that are just like breaking away, clearly going to destroy. People are like clearly going to escape their group. You've had like teams going into that third game still very much needing something to happen, even as we record Wednesday afternoon, right? Knowing that that entire group with Group C, with Poland, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico, they all still are in play to advance, right? I'm pretty sure every single one of them can still advance depending on what happens in their respective games.
Yeah, if Mexico and Argentina don't advance, like that's devastating for those countries. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's one thing for us to like not do well in the World Cup, but it's a big deal in Mexico and those, you know, those South American countries. Like it's huge. It's big business down there. So yeah, these are two big matches today.
So do you have any did you watch the Netherlands closely in their group play matches?
I watched one of the Netherlands matches early. But they didn't look like you said. I mean, they look like it's a lot of like it looked like a team that we can beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like you said, there's a lot of parity in this World Cup. I mean, nobody looks like a clear cut, like, holy shit, nobody's going to beat that squad. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
The Netherlands is a really, really good team, but I don't think that they're a team that the U.S. can't beat. The U.S. will get beat if they play the way they played against Wales and against Iran, where they get too defensive and not aggressive and trying to, you know, score goals or even just keep the ball, just have possession of the ball.
Right.
I feel like we give that up. So if that happens, I think we'll lose. But I think if we play two halves like we played the first half of yesterday's game match and the Wales match, you put those two halves together, then I think they can beat anybody.
Yeah. They turned the end of yesterday's game into a heart attack
show.
there.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
crazy.
Man. It was crazy. And it was like we were so obviously better. Like in the first half, you saw that. And the whole time I'm thinking, please get the second goal because I'm really worried about strategically what we're going to look like in the second half.
Yeah, because
protecting
even
a 1-0 lead.
But if Iran just ties us, if we draw, then it's over.
We're done.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like it was that was hard. That was hard to watch.
Is the last time we made it to the round of 8 when we lost? I remember I think it was, did we lose to Germany back in like 2006
maybe?
Is that when it was? Like, we should look that up. When's the last time? Because I remember waking up super early to watch the game in the World Cup. Like, but I think like we lost to Belgium in 2014 in the elimination round, right?
In the round of 16. In the knockout round, yeah.
Yep, in the knockout round. And then in 2010, did we lose to Germany in 2010? I'm not sure. But we got to look that up.
Yeah.
When's the last time? When is the last time that we went to the round of 16? I mean, we went to the round of 8. Let's see, which is considered the quarterfinals. Oh, It was 2002.
2002. It was the
year before. Yeah, 2002. We lost to that was when we lost to, I think, did we lose to Germany?
And I think that's the highest we've ever been ranked, was like 4th in the world.
Oh, we were that year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right around then.
Yeah.
Like 2002, 3, 4.
And that's the furthest we've ever gone in the World Cup. Which, keep in mind, we did not qualify from 1950 to 1990.
Mm-hmm.
We did not qualify. Like, that is crazy, man. But so it's fun to see people into it, man. It's fun to see it unifying, and it's just fun to be in these games where, you're kind of anticipating, and one moment can come out of nowhere and change everything.
Yeah, and it's just cool to have like some pride in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? Like the States is such a diverse place where people from all over. So this, I see people with Ecuador jerseys and France jerseys, and to be able to now have like a U.S. soccer shirt and wear it like proudly is cool.
It is cool, man. It is cool. By the way, I was just looking through the only two teams that even have a shot at going 3-0 with 3 wins in group play are Portugal and Brazil. Everybody else has at least 1 loss or 1 draw. So, kind of to our point about the nobody looking like a total dominant juggernaut. Like, I guess those 2 teams would be the closest thing to it. But yeah, I watched when the Netherlands played Ecuador. Ecuador really impressed me. That was Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands all look good in that Group A. And unfortunately for Ecuador, they went home. But I watched the Netherlands. And again, same thing. See, I didn't think like, oh, that's a team that can't be beat. So Saturday at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
You be ready to go?
Yep.
What is your, like, for a big game like that, do you like to watch alone, with family, with friends, big group, small group? What do you like to do for like a big game you care about?
No, I like to watch in the big group. Yesterday, it was just me and Mikey watching yesterday. But Saturday, I'll probably find somewhere to watch it for sure.
Yeah, that's fun, man. I know. I got to figure out Saturday, I'll be in off a red eye from the Bay.
Oh, so it'll be perfect. It'll be like you'll be rolling right into the match. You know what I'm saying? No
nap for me that day. I'm going right in.
Nap after.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I'm kind of on the no sleep zone anyway with Evie being sick, so I'm primed for it, man.
There's some big college football games this weekend too. Like USC plays Utah on Friday, which is a huge game for the playoff. You got the ACC and the SEC championship game, so when the World Cup's happening, it makes everything else so big. You know what I'm saying? Because these matches are usually in the morning, and then it just sets off the rest of your sports day.
Yeah, that's true, man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys are enjoying the World Cup as well. C and I will certainly have thoughts recapping next week. C, I want us to hit on a little hoops and football. One baseball note. We have one big signing with José Abreu signing with the Astros. And I don't know your perspective, man, but to me, he to me has been a hitter who has sort of been underappreciated. Oh, yeah. Maybe because the White Sox have, flown under the radar, haven't been a consistent force, haven't totally blossomed like we thought they would. But he is going to be a problem in Houston.
No, he's a professional hitter. I mean, it's just like he's like the right-handed Michael Brantley. You know what I'm saying? Where he's one of those guys, he's super consistent. He has good at-bats, hits the ball hard consistently, but like he don't get a lot of praise for it. You know what I'm saying? But just a guy that's like professional, that's going to go in there and play a good first base. Like the Astros are doing shit like the old Yankees used to do. Like they go win the World Series and then address exactly what they need right away. Like this team is built to win again, and then they go out and just add a vet like that. Like right away they identify with exactly what they need for their team going forward, then go get them. You heard them early in the offseason talking about, Anthony Rizzo was the guy that they wanted to sign back. Obviously he was a priority for the Yankees, signs back with the Yankees. They're all right, we'll move on to the next guy. Yeah. So it's just the Astros doing what the fucking Astros do.
So Abreu last year hit less home runs, but still hit 304. He had a 378 on base percentage. He slugged a little less, but in his career, he's had, let's see, how many years hitting over 300? He's hit over 300 4 times. He's had 30 homers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And he's had over 100 ribbies 6 times.
He's only been in the big leagues 9 years, bro.
Yep, exactly.
Shit is crazy, guys.
Ridiculously consistent. I mean, he won an MVP in 2020. He won Rookie of the Year, and he has 3 All-Star appearances. Yeah, he's going to be, and you just know there's something about being there too that I feel like brings out the best of guys. Like you just know, as much as you already realized he was a good hitter, he's going to put on that uniform, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is
he's ridiculous."
Terror.
I'll be interested to see what they do, especially you throw him in there with Jordan and fucking in between Jordan and Gurriel, whatever, however they shake it out. I'd be interested to see what they do with starting pitching. If they go out and sign another guy, if Verlander ends up going to the Dodgers.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Although I feel like, who's that guy who is a young stud but wasn't quite ready yet, but he got a little time in the pen in the playoffs? Brown? Is that right?
Their starter.
Hunter Brown?
Yeah.
Hunter Brown? Yeah, watch. He'll win 17 games at a 2.0 ERA. Yeah, he's next. He'll drink whatever water they got down there in Houston that makes every single pitcher Cy Young. It's incredible looking at their staff. It is unbelievable, and we'll see. There was one report saying that Judge could sign soon. Winter meetings are December 4th to the 7th, so I think next week we'll probably have a lot of activity to reflect upon. See,
yeah, I'm headed out to the winter meetings just to be nosy, so I'll have a lot to report on. Yeah, I mean, I'm planning on going right now. It's Wednesday. We'll see.
Yeah.
As of Wednesday this week, I plan on going.
It's 5 days away.
I'll let you know how I feel in 5 days. But that's the plan. I just want to go and be nosy, guys. Yeah. Winter meetings is fun, guys, to be honest. Like, it's a lot of
this year
in San Diego. But it's a lot of vendors and shit. Like, people try to sell shit to MLB, and like you get a lot of free shit. You know what I'm saying? It's actually pretty fun.
So you're there for like virtual reality goggles that they're giving away.
I'm everywhere for free shit. That's the only thing I go. If you give me free shit, I'll go anywhere, cuz. So it don't matter what it is. Free shit, I'm there.
Can you even fit any more free shit in your closet at this point, man?
No, but that's not the point. Just bring it. I'll figure it out.
You'll hoard it.
Just give me the free shit.
Do you have a free shit room in your house?
No, but I bring it all back, and then what I don't want, I'll give away, and then everything else I keep.
Okay, got it.
You know
I like it. It's a win-win for everybody.
When you come back from golf tournaments and shit, like I always like set everything out. What the people want, then they'll take. Last year I went to remember I won all that shit at Jeter's event last year?
Yes. So
I won like a curling iron and all kind of shit, and I gave it to Saya. Like I won, it was like all kind of weird like Dyson curling irons and shit, and the girls loved it. So
you didn't need the curling iron though.
Free shit.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is hilarious. I kind of like the idea of you going to the winter meethes and just deciding that you're going to be a massive newsbreaker.
Oh yeah, I'm just being nosy.
Like 3 days. No, you should literally just like do a like 2 or 3 day tweet binge of like every rumor you hear. Like what if you just like full disclosure? I think people would still tell you stuff if you said like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to tweet everything you tell me. Like that's my thing this week. Like, and you're literally like, yo, I'm hearing the meeting with San Francisco went too well. And then you're like, for Judge. And then you're like, I'm hearing the Yankees are feeling good. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm hearing Verlander's really considering the Angels. I don't know. Like you just start tweeting a bunch of stuff,
man. I can break all kind of bullshit, man. All kind of news.
I think you should. I think it would be a fantastic, and I think you'd get away with it. Like, I don't think anyone who you kind of like blew up their spot would be that upset with you. I don't know. I feel like they'd be like, yeah, it's CC. He's, it's just like kind of what he does,
What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just going so I can just hear, so I can be nosy.
You and just listen without sharing.
Whatever breaks, and we'll have the stories behind it.
Fair enough. Okay. That's fair. See, NBA season now is at the quarter mark. What are there any things that have really stood out to you through this early part of the season that are top of mind for you?
Man, right now, I think the first quarter of the season that the better teams are in the East.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Boston or Philly or Milwaukee,
Cleveland.
Cleveland's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Indiana's good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like deep. I mean, I think the teams in the West have a lot of talent. They're just older. You know what I'm saying? Like the teams in the West are just older. Chris Paul's, I mean, in Arizona, he's older. You know what I mean? Like the Warriors, they're an older team. The Lakers is a team that's old as fuck. The Clippers are old. So like you just got to get them to the tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like what's happening in the regular season and all this shit, like that don't matter. Like just when it's April and you get them in the tournament, I think we'll see a different level of basketball out of the West. But it's pretty cool to see the better teams in the East this year as a whole, because for the longest time the West had been a better conference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to see that kind of shift now and have it be younger, like the East it's a lot of young stars. You know, Cleveland with Darius Garland and Spider Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? And Evan Mobley. So it's fun to watch these guys, you know, kind of come into their own and kind of take over the league. It's pretty cool.
Totally agree on that youth point. Like, I think the thing that has stood out to me a lot watching the last 2 years is how valuable it is to have young, peaking stars and the effects that they have, right? Like, if you look at Boston, you know, Tatum and Brown are still 24 and 25 years old. Like they're absurdly young, and it makes a difference, you know, but they're experienced. When you have young, experienced talent that is peaking, you become a real force. And I think, you know, we're seeing that with Boston, with Tatum and Brown, where, you know, Tatum was kind of like this all-star. Now he is clearly a superstar. You know, I think we looked at Jaylen Brown as like a really good player, sort of fringe all-star, and now we're like solidified. No, that dude is clearly like all-star, like no doubt, you know, and they're doing it in their mid-20s. And I also think what we're learning is continuity, like the value of continuity. We've been so focused on stars teaming up and, you know, seeing the success that certain teams had with that happening with LeBron and what he was able to do both in Miami and Cleveland in the bubble year, seeing the Lakers and what they were able to do with LeBron and AD. But I think over the last couple of seasons and this year again, we're seeing the value of continuity, of a group that knows each other, of players that, you know, have a rhythm with one another. Like there's a reason why Phoenix, despite weird turmoil with DeAndre Ayton, despite strangeness with Jay Crowder, why they're still going out. Right now, they're first in the West. They've got real continuity there. Boston, not only the young stars in their prime, but they have real continuity with their starting lineup. Milwaukee, same thing, continuity with that roster. Like there's a value for that where, you know, it's basketball is a sport where you may have that talent, but you still need to know how to play with each other.
Yeah, but you're right. I think, you know, now, I'm not going to blame this on LeBron, but getting back to like when it was the big three, people were just slapping teams together. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go get these 2 or 3 stars, and then we'll just slap the rest of these motherfuckers together.
Yes.
You know, we'll just get a couple shooters and a guy to rebound, and then we'll be fine. But no, that shit don't work, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was working for LeBron or whoever else because he's actually friends with D-Wade and they brought Chris Bosh. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the continuity was there between those three. You can't just slap, like, even when Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, the continuity was there because that core had been there forever. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, was experienced and was young. And so you can throw a KD into that and it'll be fine. But I think people just started like, oh, all I need is a star and fucking a couple of shooters. No, the fuck, you can't win like that. Nope. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in hoop when it's only 15 guys and they're together all the time. And it's a small, tight-knit group of people. So the closer you can get that group, the better off you are 2-3 years down the line. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and like you said, you're seeing it in Boston, you're seeing it in Milwaukee.
Phoenix.
I think Philly is trying to do that. They can't get the right mix. You know what I'm saying? They trying to get the right mix around Embiid, but it just ain't mixing right. So I still feel they got a little work to do as far as the team, you know, continuity-wise. But yeah, I mean, that actually is the fucking formula to win now is making sure that you have, young guys that get along.
Yeah. And I think it was interesting hearing what Van Gundy talked about with us a couple weeks ago, which he was so good. If you guys haven't listened to that episode, definitely go back, check it out on our YouTube page or wherever you get your podcasts. But where he was talking about, he really thinks like the Warriors will look back and be like, wow, like we kind of stole that title. I'm paraphrasing Jeff's thoughts, but like he looked at it and still thinks Boston was, the better team.
We said that though, if Robert Williams is healthy, they probably would have won.
But and even with him, yes, and even with him like in and out, they were primed to win that. But like you could see the experience. Like this was sort of the exception of like the veterans who just like really know how to win and still have one, superstar thriving in his prime carrying them.
It kind of reminds me of. I've been watching that. I watched that Shaq. You watched the Shaq documentary?
I haven't yet. How is it?
You got to watch the first episode. I love Shaq, so it's great. Yeah. But it reminds me of like when him and Penny played that Rockets team. When they had all that talent, all the young guys, all that talent against those experienced vets. And it's just like, oh, these young guys are going to kill these old motherfuckers. Yep. But it was the experience that took over. And in those big moments that, I think got the Warriors that championship last year.
And I've seen it up close, see, with Brooklyn and them trying to figure it out, like the value of actually playing together. Because one thing I have seen this year in spurts is they will play some unbelievably beautiful, unselfish basketball. Like they had 4 straight games of 30-plus assists, franchise record. Ben was just starting to play like Ben again, and now his knee's sore, so you hope he's not out too long. But you also see, like, when there's not that much experience with each other, kind of like learning each other, how to hold each other accountable, making sure that there's like a trust and a communication on defense so that you don't take plays off. Because one of the things that I do think happens in basketball in particular, when you have a team that's really talented, especially on the offensive end, and maybe they don't have that continuity, there is this feeling of like, whether it's conscious or subliminal, hey, like we don't necessarily have to lock in every single play because we know we can just kind of score when we want to, And the reality is this league is too damn good for that. Like you can't be a great team in this league and not be locked in 99% of the time. And I think that's kind of what you see from a Milwaukee or a Boston, and that's what a team like Brooklyn and maybe Philly is still looking for. Like, how do I get to a place where I'm making my talent gel, and I'm also coming with the level of focus and commitment on a consistent basis?
I think the biggest word you said in there was the accountability, and that's from having guys that know each other and have played together. So if KD can hold Kyrie accountable for not picking up a guy on defense, then he can yell at anybody. You know what I'm saying? That allows anybody to be able to yell at Kyrie. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that allows a team to have accountability. But if you don't have that, then you fucked. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And when you have teams slapped together, it's hard to hold people accountable because you just don't know if that's the way I should talk to that person. You know what I'm saying? Or should I take him to a side? Or you know what I mean? Like it's everybody trying to figure out everybody in their space. In basketball, all these guys in their own head are superstars. And they got their own brand and how they think the way shit should go. So yeah, it's hard to hold people accountable. I mean, even to the point where Draymond thought he was holding KD accountable, and that shit ran him out of San Francisco.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with like how you talk to people, especially on the basketball team.
Yeah. And that's where a Marcus Smart is probably like the perfect fit for those other 2 young stars, right? Like, because he kind of knows that he has the equity built up there being with them for years and years and years and years. And the way he plays so hard, he's able to speak a truth to them, kind of like an Iguodala could do as well in Golden State.
But and that perks everybody else up, though. You know what I'm saying? If Iggy gets on Steph, then Jordan Poole hears that. You know what I'm saying? Or Kaminga's hearing that, and it makes them perk up.
I saw an interesting moment the other day. We didn't get to it on the broadcast, but when I was calling Nets Blazers on Sunday night, where Kyrie, or Sunday afternoon, Kyrie seemed to be upset about something after a timeout and was kind of sitting outside the huddle a little bit. And as they were getting ready to go back on the floor, which, listen, that happens in the NBA. Kyrie is certainly not the first player to sit on the outside of a huddle. So let me be very clear about that, because his name is a buzzword. But I bring it up to say what was interesting to me is seeing Markieff Morris. Like, Markieff Morris kind of pulled him aside afterwards before they got back on the floor. And I could tell he was probably trying to be like, you know, let me hear what you're thinking. Let me tell you this perspective. And he kind of is a dude who is probably a guy who can hold you accountable without even necessarily having to play, right? And those guys are special gems, I think, in sports. The guy who can do that.
Udonis Haslam.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying?
Bingo. Yeah, exactly. Right? See those guys who can kind of keep everyone in check and like have that respect, even if they're not the dude who's putting up 25 a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you have that, then it's a special thing. You know, it's not a lot of those guys though. But
No.
it's why Iggy sits on the bench. It's why, you know, UD sits on the bench. You know, I can't even think of any other guys in the league right now that are that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's always one or two guys that, you know, that can hold you accountable and that are gatekeepers to the organization. And that's what I always talk about, whether it's the Yankees or the Miami Heat or whoever else. You need those guys that sets the tone for the organization and how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to walk around.
Yeah. You know, you were talking about the way you were describing, like when you said, because you may not know how to talk to that person. That's why the continuity plays a role in accountability in that. And it's so true. Like, I was just thinking about it in my own career. The producer I've worked with the longest is Frank DeGrace, my Nets producer, who's as good as any producer in the country. You've heard me mention Frank before. You work with Frank on a preseason game. And Frank can literally say anything to me. Like, Frank could be short with me. Frank knows how to build me up, but he also like knows how to keep me in check, or like, dude, what are you doing saying that? I told you we're going to do a graphic on that later. You know, he has no problem saying that to me. And I don't get my back up about it because I'm like, it's Frank. He knows me. I know him. Like, he trusts me. I trust him. He could talk to me however he wants to talk to me, and it's just going to make me better. Or if I disagree, I have no problem being like, no, man, this is why I did that, and being able to go back. Now, if I'm working with a producer for the first time, or it's like year one or year two, and they do that, I'm not hearing it the same way, even if they're right, you know? And like, there is something about that when you slap a team together and you don't have those relationships, you don't have those experiences, it's harder to actually like be willing and be receptive to listen to people.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the biggest thing is being able to be receptive to whatever criticism that you're getting from a teammate or, you know, somebody that you work with.
Do you have you and I think had the same, my finals prediction was either the Sixers or the Nets against the Warriors.
Oh yeah, I picked the Warriors for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to change anything about your picks?
No. I think the Warriors still gonna go to the finals.
Okay.
I
think
don't know who I picked in the East.
I think Denver could be a sneaky, interesting team.
Man, we say that every year, and then somebody get hurt.
I know.
Michael Porter. Or...
I know. They're like, they really have talent, man.
Yeah,
like
they have for the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years, really.
I know. You know, like, what you really need to win in the NBA, and I think the finals showed us this, and the teams that got through the playoffs last year, like, you need to have 6 or 7 guys who you feel totally comfortable with as two-way guys.
No, you need like 7 guys.
But that you feel good offense and defense.
Yeah, you need 7 guys that you can play at any time, that can close out a game that's gonna win you a championship.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about Boston. Boston has like 9.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they haven't even been totally healthy yet.
No. So it's yeah, I mean I think, man.
If I had to repick now, I'd pick the Celtics and the Bucks to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think it probably would come down to which team's healthier. I think like Boston's really hungry, but like Giannis is like, he's just such a force, man. And they would have won last year if they had Middleton.
I want to see Philly and Milwaukee playing the playoff series.
Oh, you want to see Embiid, Giannis?
I want to see Embiid and Giannis. Yeah, I think Giannis is a better player, but I think Embiid is like nasty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think it'll get a little chippy.
Yeah, man. Oh, that'd be great. The West is interesting. I think, because the Warriors have not been as good, but they've started to get it together of late. I have them against the Bulls.
That was a good game last night.
Great game against Dallas. Yeah, great game against Dallas. But I think it's tough, man. Like, could Phoenix do it this year? West is wide open, I think, man.
No, the West is wide open, and that's why I think it's still going to be the Warriors at the end of the day. Just get them to the tournament, man.
Hey, you know what else? New Orleans, really good this year, even with some injury issues. And Memphis, really good, even with injury issues.
Memphis is really good. You know what's made the difference for, I feel like, down in New Orleans is C.J. McCollum and a guy that can hold those young guys accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody that's a professional. He's been through playoff series, and I think he's a perfect guy to be down there and just kind of steering the ship.
Love Willie Green as a coach, too, man. Love Willie Green. See, NFL, did you enjoy the Thanksgiving games as much as you thought you were going to?
Yeah, Thanksgiving, the NFL did a good job, man. I mean, they had the primetime games this year have been shitty, whether Thursday night or Monday night have been fucking terrible. But this week was good. Thursday was actually pretty entertaining, so it was made up for it.
Are you on the Mike White train for the New York Jets?
Man, I don't even know who the fuck that is.
The dude who was a quarterback this last week.
No, I know.
Threw for 300 yards.
No, he had a good game. It was good to see somebody be accountable, right? Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, Zach Wilson said he didn't let the defense down. Those guys were out there playing, as hard as they can, and they don't score any points. So now the Jets have a great defense, guys. Like a really, really good defense. And if they can just score enough points, whether it's 24 or whatever, that defense can hold some teams down, and I think they may have a chance to make some noise in the playoffs, guys.
They have some talent on offense too. Like if they have someone who can get the football out, yeah, they have some talent on offense. I think
the Giants may be in trouble, guys.
I wouldn't. If you told me what's more likely, the Giants win 10 games or lose every single one of their remaining games, I think I would say lose every single one of their remaining games.
Man.
Which I don't think they're going to, because I think Dable is a really good coach and they'll find a way to win 1 or 2. But I can't see them getting to 10 wins. I think it's going to be really hard to get to 9.
That Detroit loss was bad. That made it, you know what I'm saying? That fucked them up.
Yeah. Well, and also look, they have now they had a great defense. They now have some of their top defenders hurt. And they're not talented offensively, really, when it comes to their, Daniel Jones, I think, has looked good this year. But would you sign him back? I would. Yeah, I would. When I see the rest of the quarterbacks in this league and how hard it is to find, to me, I want to see Daniel Jones with actual wide receivers. He has been good enough to me this year for me to have hope if he has a good wide receiver core around him. And, it's obviously been encouraging seeing Saquon play the way he has this year. But dude, I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. Do they still have to play the Eagles twice. They still have to play Washington twice, who has been playing great lately. Then they have to play at the Vikings on Christmas Eve. And then their only other game is home against the Colts. That's a hellacious finish to the schedule for them, with Washington now playing the way that they're playing.
Yeah. No. They could lose every one of those games. Guys.
They actually could. It wouldn't be surprising. It would not be surprising if they do. And then me and my team and your Raiders will be back in the same spot, man.
Man. We need both of us need a quarterback.
You know what? I like Daniel Jones has shown me something this year, man.
I don't know what he's showing you.
I like him. He's shown me something this year. I'm okay on Daniel Jones, and I love the head coach, and I like the GM a lot. So I feel good about the direction of the franchise, even if they lose out.
Is that like they're gonna sign Daniel Jones back, and then 3 years from now we're gonna be sitting in the same spot. You're gonna be like, we just need some receivers. We're just a little short on offense. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I know what's going on, guys.
You're probably right about that. But I hope, I hope you're wrong.
The league is set up, guys, where the quarterback has to be the best player on the team, bro. Like there's the Vikings are not the Vikings
and San Francisco. San Francisco. It's kind of an exception as well.
They're not going to win, though.
You don't think so?
I feel like the Niners have the best roster in the NFL outside of their quarterback. They have everything because that is a complete fucking team. And they won't win the Super Bowl because their quarterback's not the best player on the team. Watch.
So who is your Super Bowl pick as of today? Who do you think goes to the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be the Chiefs, and I think it's going to be the Chiefs, and I think
Eagles.
I want to say the Niners, cuz.
So okay, there you go.
But they're gonna lose in the Super Bowl. Is what I'm saying. They're not gonna win the Super Bowl.
But that's a really good run.
I don't give a fuck. Like I don't want to. That's coming in second place, cuz I don't want to come and say like, who cares? Like fuck that. If we had a better quarterback, they would easily be better than the Chiefs. But I mean, I think they could lose to the Eagles because Jalen Hurts and what they're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be the Eagles and the Niners in the NFC Championship game. I don't know what happens, but I think it's going to be those two teams.
I think the Vikings are going to be in the NFC Championship game
I don't think so,
this year.
I think Kirk Cousins is going to fuck this up. Watch.
I think Kirk Cousins is going to deliver. You're going to eat these words.
He's never delivered, bro.
Atta, Sadie, Jackson, remember this. We're playing it back in about 5 weeks.
Kirk Cousins is going to fuck this up, bro. Watch.
Yeah.
Watch, bro.
I guess 7 or 8 weeks is more like it, but we'll see. We'll be on Kirk Cousins' watch for the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
It's always fun getting to chat sports on R2C2. And I by the way, Sadie was texting me. I didn't see it. They lost to Germany in 2002. 1-0. That was it. Yes. But we'll do it again next week. We'll react to anything big that happens with the winter meetings. We'll be all over what happens with Team USA as well. Maybe throw in a bonus pod too. So you got to be subscribed to us. Here's the deal. You subscribe to us, good things happen for R2C2. So wherever you get R2C2, just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you download the episodes. Tell everybody you know. And make sure you're checking out our YouTube page as well. We will do it again shortly, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.